In the heart of the dark African jungles, a young girl named Zawa, driven by a desire to escape poverty, makes a decision that will forever change her life. Tempted by the allure of wealth and power, she embarks on a path filled with deceit and scandal, a path where every step brings her closer to an inevitable downfall. But in the end, can wealth truly replace self-respect? Zawa's story serves as a warning about the choices that may distance us from ourselves, leading ultimately to loneliness and regret. Once upon a time, in the heart of the remote African jungles, a tribe called Mongay lived in poverty and destitution. The ancient traditions of this tribe had been preserved from generation to generation like a precious heritage, and there seemed to be no way to escape the harsh and difficult conditions of life. Among this tribe lived a girl named Zawa, who had known poverty and suffering since childhood. Zawa lived in a small, old house made of cracked wood and dried mud. Her mother, who was the sole provider for the family, went to the distant farm every day to gather some food for survival. From childhood, Zawa was forced to help her mother, and as a result, she had little opportunity for learning. With each passing day, Zawa grew more tired of her hard and exhausting life. She often gazed at the vast, endless sky and wondered if a better fate awaited her. Every time she saw the wealthy men of the tribe, she would think to herself how different her life could have been if she had wealth at her disposal. Zawa longed to one day escape from this life filled with pain and poverty. At night, she would lie in her simple bed and dream of a future where she no longer had to go to the farm with her calloused hands. But these dreams always seemed distant and unattainable, like stars in the night sky. One day, Zawa concluded that she had to do something to change her life. She thought that perhaps she could use her beauty and charm to her advantage. The men of the tribe always complimented her, and these compliments gave her the idea that she might be able to change the course of her life. One night, as Zawa walked through the dark forest, with the sound of the wind blowing through the trees, she made a big decision. She vowed to herself to use the interest men had in her to gradually gather wealth. Although this decision scared her, she felt that it might be the only way to escape poverty. The next morning, with a charming face and a bewitching smile, Zawa approached one of the wealthiest men in the tribe. She quickly captivated the man with her soft words and meaningful looks. The man, clearly enchanted by her beauty and demeanor, made many promises to her and brought her expensive gifts. With each gift that Zawa received, she felt she was getting closer to her goal. She was no longer a poor girl, now she wore fine clothes, and her home was filled with beautiful and valuable items. But this was only the beginning of her journey, and Zawa was determined to continue down this path until she reached her ultimate goal. Soon, Zawa entered into relationships with more men from the tribe. She knew that the more men who wanted her, the more wealth she would gain. One by one, the men of the tribe were drawn to her, and Zawa took full advantage of these opportunities to increase her power and wealth. Zawa, as she received valuable gifts from various men, began to feel more powerful and confident. However, some of the men she had relationships with gradually realized that they weren't the only ones. Jealousy and rivalry began to emerge among the men of the tribe, and this led to serious conflicts. The disputes in the tribe over Zawa intensified, and the men started fighting with each other. But these secret relationships gradually attracted the attention of the people in the tribe. The women of the tribe became suspicious of Zawa's behavior, and rumors began to spread among the people. Some of the women strongly criticized Zawa's actions, accusing her of betraying the tribe's values. With each passing day, more rumors about Zawa spread. Some of the men felt deceived and became disappointed in her. They even went to the tribe's elder to complain, demanding that something be done about Zawa's behavior. The elder, who had trusted Zawa before, now found himself deep in thought, wondering how to deal with this growing crisis in the tribe. Amidst the conflicts and rumors, Zawa felt that she was losing control of the situation. The men no longer trusted her, and the women of the tribe distanced themselves from her. Surrounded by suspicion and doubt, Zawa realized that she could no longer continue living in the tribe. She concluded that perhaps it was best to seek refuge in more distant tribes. One night, while everyone was asleep, Zawa quietly gathered her belongings and slipped out of the tribe. She headed toward a tribe she had visited a few days earlier. In this new tribe, Zawa tried to hide her identity and start anew. But even in this tribe, the news of her scandal spread quickly, and Zawa felt as though there was no escaping her past. Tired of the rumors and criticism, Zawa decided to travel to other tribes. At night, she would leave her tribe and go to neighboring tribes. There, too, she would form relationships with men in the same manner and receive even more gifts from them. Zawa's life seemed to be gradually improving. She was now known not only in her own tribe but also in the neighboring tribes. Everywhere she went, men respected her and offered her expensive gifts. But deep down, something within Zawa had begun to change. Although Zawa once felt successful, now she felt tired and lonely. With each man she entered into a relationship with, she felt like she was losing a part of herself. Although her wealth had increased, she felt emptiness and meaninglessness inside her. Zawa had now come to realize that no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't escape her past. She wasn't just running from the men anymore, she was also running from herself. Zawa reflected on whether all her efforts to gain wealth and power had been in vain. Deep inside, she felt a sense of regret and confusion that no amount of wealth could soothe. At what point does the pursuit of wealth and power turn into self-destruction? And is there a way back once that line is crossed? Write the answer in the comments. One day, one of the men Zawa had been involved with betrayed her, revealing her secrets to the other men in the tribe. Soon everyone became aware of Zawa's hidden actions, and a wave of scandal swept through the tribe. Zawa, once admired, was now despised by the people of the tribe. As the scandal spread, even Zawa's family distanced themselves from her. Her mother, who had always been proud of her, now refused to speak to her. Zawa, isolated and alone, didn't know how she could overcome this crisis. If you have come this far and you liked the video, be sure to like the video and let's continue the story. In search of a way to escape this situation, Zawa fled to the remote forests. She wandered through the tall trees and dark shadows for days and nights, contemplating her life. With every step she took, the burden on her shoulders seemed to grow heavier. Now Zawa was completely alone, with no one to help her. Once she had sought wealth and power, but now she was drowned in loneliness and silence, wishing she had made different choices in her life. Every time Zawa thought back to the past, the regret within her grew stronger. She couldn't believe how her decisions had led her to this point. All the effort she had put into gaining wealth and power now seemed pointless. Zawa was searching for a way to return to her previous life, but she knew it might be too late. As time passed, the rumors about Zawa died down, but her name remained associated with scandal. Whenever people in the tribe heard her name, they remembered the great disgrace she had caused. No one was willing to help her return to her former life, and she lived alone in the shadow of these scandals. With no hope of returning, Zawa decided to continue her life deep in the forest. She built a small hut from branches and leaves, far from the eyes of the tribe. Although this life was difficult, Zawa felt it was the only way to escape her past. Every morning she woke up to the sound of birds and the breeze, then searched for food in the forest. Zawa had learned how to survive using the resources of nature. Her life was no longer as glamorous as before, but at least she had distanced herself from the gossip and heavy stares of the tribe. Every night, Zawa looked up at the starry sky and thought about the decisions she had made. She often asked herself if the wealth she had gained was really worth losing her dignity and respect. These questions occupied her mind each night, robbing her of sleep. One day, as Zawa was walking through the tall trees of the forest, she came across a small, clear spring flowing among the rocks. She sat by the spring and gazed at her reflection in the water. Her face was filled with fatigue, and her eyes no longer had the sparkle they once did. Zawa felt like she didn't even recognize herself anymore. She reflected on how her life had reached this point. Once she had been a girl afraid of poverty, looking for a way to escape it. But now that she had achieved wealth and power, she had lost something so valuable that no amount of wealth could replace it. She had lost herself. One day, a man from the tribe accidentally stumbled upon Zawa's hut in the forest. He asked her why she lived alone in the forest and why she didn't return to the tribe. Zawa, with a soft and broken voice, answered that there was no place for her in the tribe anymore, as her life had been ruined by scandal. The man was astonished by Zawa's story and looked at her with compassion. The man told Zawa that no life, even in the toughest circumstances, was ever truly over, and there was always a chance for change and redemption. He suggested that Zawa return to the tribe and try to make amends for her mistakes. At first, Zawa doubted his words, but slowly she began to feel that perhaps there was a chance for her to return. For a few days, Zawa stayed in her hut in the forest, reflecting on all the mistakes she had made. Eventually, she decided that she might be able to return to the tribe, even though she knew it wouldn't be easy. People would still judge her for her past, but Zawa was ready to face the challenge and try to make things right. One morning, Zawa left her hut and with heavy steps and a heart full of doubt, made her way back to her tribe. When she arrived, the people were shocked to see her. Some continued to judge her for her past and cast heavy glances in her direction, while others looked at her with pity. Zawa decided that instead of running away, she would face the truth. She went to the tribe's elder and asked for forgiveness. With honesty and remorse, she spoke about her wrong decisions and promised to do whatever it took to make amends. The elder, touched by her sincerity, gave her the chance to redeem herself and rejoin the tribe. Slowly, Zawa began to rebuild her life in the tribe. She no longer relied on her old ways and decided to work hard and live honestly. Although the people of the tribe still didn't fully trust her, Zawa was determined to work tirelessly to regain their trust. Every day, Zawa worked diligently on the tribe's farm and involved herself in social activities, trying to show that she was no longer the ambitious and deceitful girl of the past. Over time, the people of the tribe began to notice the changes in her behavior, and some of them started giving her a second chance. Zawa had made a promise to herself that she would never return to her old ways. She no longer sought wealth or power, but rather a life of dignity and honor. Every night when she returned home, she felt more peace within herself, and this peace had become more valuable to her than any wealth. As time passed, the people of the tribe gradually began to accept Zawa. They saw that she was no longer driven by personal gain and was working for the betterment of the tribe. Zawa participated in all the tribe's social activities and tried to help others. Her changes in behavior led the people to trust her again, and she regained her place among them. Over time, Zawa became a respected member of the tribe. She was no longer known for her past scandals, but was respected for her efforts and the positive changes she had made in her life. Zawa's life became calm and balanced, and she found peace in her daily tasks and responsibilities. Zawa had learned from her past mistakes and now knew that no amount of wealth or power could replace self-respect and dignity. She would often tell the younger members of the tribe her life story, so that they could learn from her mistakes and avoid making the wrong choices in their own lives. Zawa's story gradually became an important lesson in the tribe. Years passed, and Zawa was no longer the ambitious girl she once was. She had become a wise and experienced woman who had learned many valuable lessons from the ups and downs of her life. The people of the tribe respected her, and she helped others overcome their own life challenges. Zawa now lived in complete peace, no longer seeking anything beyond what she had. Zawa never forgot how her decisions had nearly led to her destruction. But she also knew that the power to change and correct her mistakes had always been in her hands. Zawa was proud of herself for being able to overcome the darkness of her past and return to the light of life. This sense of inner strength gave her the motivation to continue living with determination and faith. Zawa's life story remained as a warning for the people of the tribe. They always remembered that there was no easy or short path to success and happiness. Through her story, Zawa taught others that one must always live with honesty and hard work and avoid making rash and tempting decisions. Zawa lived the rest of her life as a respected and wise woman in the tribe. Every day she helped others with love and hope, using her experiences to improve the lives of those around her. The people of the tribe always remembered her as a woman who had learned from her mistakes and changed her life. In the end, Zawa found peace and contentment among her people. She rebuilt her life in a way that was not only inspiring for herself but also for others. Zawa's life story showed that even in the most difficult circumstances, there is always a way to change and return to a better life, as long as one has the will and faith to do so. Can someone who has lost everything, including their sense of self, truly find redemption, or does the weight of past choices linger forever? Write the answer in the comments. If you like this story, I will be happy to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell and wait for the next video that we will share together. Take care until the next video.